Question number 12. A student carries out an experiment to determine the value of G, the gravity acceleration, the acceleration of free fall. A short wooden rod, this is a short wooden rod, they use it, okay, is released above a light gate. We have a light gate here that connected to a timer, okay. A timer connected to a light gate to measure the time taken for the wooden rod to pass. So this is the wooden rod and this is the light gate. It only measures the time as the rod passes the light gate from here to here. That means how long is the time to pass the light gate only from here to here. The length L of the rod, it's very important to us because the length here divided by the time, it's equal approximately the average speed as the rod passes the light gate, okay? The experiment arranged is shown here. The student uses the equation v squared, the final velocity, equal u squared, the initial velocity, plus 2as, where u is 0, and graphically method to determine a value for gravity acceleration. Okay, state the additional measurement that student should take. What are the things that I want to do during this experiment? Usually u is 0, and a is the gravity acceleration, and v I need to find it out. So what are the additional measurements and 2 marks? That means I have 2 things to measure. What are these 2 things that I need to measure? Send it to me on the chat, okay? What are the 2 things that I need to measure? I just mentioned one of them, okay? Thank you, Abdul Latif, okay? But you have to be clear about the distance. What do you mean by distance? Who else? Exactly, thank you, Shahid. The length of the rod, because if I know the length of the rod from here to here, that's L, divided by the time measured by the timer, exactly, the length of the rod using a measuring rule. Yes, okay, they didn't ask about the instrument, yes, meter rule. And the height, this distance is the height until it reached the light gate. I will call it what? S, okay, this is S, okay, so I will say the distance, okay, the distance S of, okay, from where the rod is dropped to the light gate. That's number 1. Number 2, I would say the length of the rod L. The length of the rod L. These are the 2 marks. Okay? Next. B. Describe how the velocity V of the wooden rod as it passes through the light gate can be determined accurately. Now, this is the average velocity, as I told you, okay, because as the rod is falling, when it reaches the light gate, it will not have the same speed as it gets out, okay, so the speed changes. To find out how much is this V, we have to say that, as you told me, it's the length of the rod, length L, divided by what? The time of what? The time of from what? From the timer. From the timer. So if I know this, I get 1 mark. How can I do that accurately? What I need to do to be more accurate? Yes, tell me. How can I be more accurate? What do I need? Yalla, faster, huh? Bravo, find the average of the time, or yes, exactly. Bravo. Shukran ya Shahid, shukran ya who? Yes, okay, shukran. So repeat it from the same height, or from the same position, and find the average time. And find the average time. So the time can be changed, but the length of the rod doesn't change. Okay, if I repeat it from the same position, from the same height. So here also I get what? 2 marks by this idea. Okay, good. Okay. Part C. The same height different from this different height. Of course, because if I repeat it from same height, okay, it will be approximately the same time. But whenever the height is higher, that means it will be faster. So it will pass this light gate with shorter time. But whenever it's closer, it will be slower. So it will take long time to pass it. But if I keep repeating, dropping it from the same position, from the same height, the time will be approximately what? The same. Whenever it's higher, the time to pass the light gate, it will be shorter. Whenever it's closer, okay, not that height, that time will be longer. Okay, I will do the same height several times. For example, I measured from the height 1 meter 2 or 3 times and find the average. From 1.5 meter height 2 or 3 times. Measured from 2 meter height 2 or 3 times and find the average. Yes. Now C. Describe how the student can determine the value of G using graphical method. If I have a graphical method, that means, as I told you now, I have to repeat this experiment at different height, and each height I have to find the average of the time and repeat it several times. Okay, and whenever I want to find this, I want to do that graphically, I have to think about the graph that I can use the gradient of the best fit line. Okay, I have to use the gradient to find the acceleration. Now, as you know, that this equation that I'm going to use it, they tell us about it, v square equal u square plus 2as, okay, I have to make it a linear equation, okay? So v square equal u square plus 2as. I have to make it equal to the linear equation, which is what? What's the linear equation? I'll write it here. I know that linear equation equal y equal mx plus what? Plus c. Now, what I need to do? I need to rearrange this equation again. So as I rearrange this equation, what it will be? V square equal 2as plus u square. Can I do it like this? It's clear. I switch between these. There's no problem. So in this situation, I can make y on the y-axis v square equal 2a multiplied by multiply by m multiply by x plus c. So in this situation, the gradient is equal to what? 2g. That means g in this situation is equal to how much? The gravity acceleration g or a. It's equal to what? It's equal to the gradient divided by what? Divided by 2. Thank you. Yes. Gradient over what? 2. So in the y-axis, I'll put v square. And on the x-axis, I'll put what? The displacement or the height that I drop it from. So what I have to say here, okay? I have to say how I'm going to describe how the student could determine the value of G by graphical method. So what the student will say here in this situation. Let's go on to write down what you have to write in the exam, okay, instead of this, okay, after that. Repeat. Oh, sorry. Drop the rod from the same height S above the light gate several times to find the average time, then calculate, then calculate the average velocity v as it passes it, I mean by it the light gate. Okay, then plot a graph between v square versus s. Okay, from different heights. Like this, we can answer this question and other ideas. Okay, so that's how we can answer this question, and we can get what 3 marks or even more in other type of questions. Okay. أستاذ لازم أكتب كل هاي الديتيلز؟ لا، أنا بحب أكتب هاي الديتيلز عشان أفرجيك إنه إحنا لازم تكون فاهم أنت الدرس وفاهم الأيديا كلياتها كيف تعملها، حتى لو إجا سؤال how can I do this. Okay, but you have to show them something here. Okay, and how we can find the gradients. Okay, then G is calculated, but after finding the gradient.